I get to use names because I'm fired anyway. It's awesome. All right, visible is the first piece. Make it visible. If it's worth it to you to complain about it, let's put it up. Second, it's got to be easy, right? If we've got to contract reports, all I'm asking is take the time to put a tick on a logbook, right? We've got to make data collection easy for staff because staff cannot be the problem solvers. They are problem identifiers, right? Each layer of leadership has to help them solve the problems, but they're taking care of patients. They can't drop everything that they're doing and solve problems. And it does have to be staff driven because they're the only ones that have the perspective on these problems needed to make actionable change. One of those fosters blame, the other one celebrates failure, right? And I know they struggle with this whole celebrates failure thing, but if you think about the true culture of this place and how far down that path of lightning bolts coming down from Mount Olympus, to me, you've got to have a total about face. I swear you will not get blamed if you show a problem. No fly zone, why it exists, to protect time, to go to the Gemba. It's got to be a priority for the executive team. It's got to be. If it's not, these might be pretty useful to you. So these are the 10 commandments that are sort of 360. They apply to staff, they apply to executives, they apply to directors. The first two are pretty straightforward. Well, the first one is pretty straightforward, that they do have to be updated daily, right? Glass wall, service line board, Gemba boards. Otherwise, you gotta change the name of the program, dude. It's lean daily management. Daily accountability to performance. Unless you're just telling me you don't want to know how your hospital operates every day, by all means, do it on Fridays.
Why are some of the boards, they have black on there? Is it like they're closed for the weekend or something?
Yes.
But you should still be doing your measurements on the weekend.
Correct, unless the unit's just straight up closed, which some do.
Right. But nursing units should have every day.
Sometimes they might put black if there was a problem with data collection and they don't want to chart a data point because they don't have good information. So they'll just black it out and say something went wrong, we don't have it. I don't want to chart 0 occurrences because occurrences did happen, we just don't know about them.
Okay.
That kind of thing. This is going to be big. No phones. I had a CEO yell at me one time when I was in San Antonio because I busted his ass over a phone. I still go back and forth as to whether I'd do it differently because he never did that shit again.
Right.
And if I gently coached him in his office afterwards, it would have gone in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
No phones. I mean, and this sounds so straightforward, but it's amazing. They won't do it. And this is something that I would remind them the 30 minutes before their first Gemba walk. If you pull out your phone, it better be to check yourself on time. That's it. If somebody is talking, you listen to them. Don't pull each other aside and start talking about what you think. 100% of your attention, because they are on stage. Start on time, stay on time. Pretty straightforward, but it's got to be to the minute. You get in a situation where people are waiting around at a board for 3 minutes, and it's the same with executives. If they get to a Gemba board and nobody's around, they feel stupid. They're like, okay, what the hell am I doing here? Right? So it's about mutual respect. And by the way, I use this to say LDM will never, ever, 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 ever take priority over patient care. And it happens in hospitals. If you're overwhelmed, your world is crashing down on you, it can take 3 seconds to go and acknowledge the walker and say, hey, look, our world is crashing down. I'm so sorry I can't present the board today. Cool. Acknowledge that the executive's there. Go back, do your thing.
Yeah.
Right? But you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that you can't find 3 seconds to acknowledge the person that just walked on your unit. Somebody can't find 3 seconds. It's just about mutual respect. All fallouts must fall into a Pareto category. So these Pareto charts, it is not the problem-solving tool to end all problem-solving tools. I acknowledge that. But it is very, very utilitarian. It can be used for a lot of different kinds of problems. And the name of the game is reduce confusion. This problem occurs in many different times, at many different places. It shows up in many different forms. All that Pareto chart is designed to do is say 80% of the time, what is it? Right? To help us focus on one thing at a time. I prescribe this because if they're not using a Pareto chart, they're not learning. All they're doing is tracking. Right? Now the truth is, if they found some other way beside a Pareto chart to learn from these problems and not just track it, I'm down. But from a scalability standpoint, I'm going to tell every single person in the hospital, if it doesn't have a Pareto chart that's active, it's wasting everybody's time because Gemba boards are not tracking boards.